My name is Jodi Delaney, and I lead a 4th and 5th grade Montessori classroom in Helena, Montana. My instruction is modeled after the research of Dr. Maria Montessori. A library of books have been written about the Montessori method, so this video is just a brief overview of how I incorporate history into our general classroom studies. Every lesson I present is developed around the guiding question, how do I make this real? Lessons come to life when students can interact with the past through objects and stories. I am certainly not the only source of knowledge, so students are encouraged to share their own expertise with peers. This allows young people to take responsibility for their own learning and creates a supportive environment for sharing personal knowledge. Students want to feel that their studies are relevant to their lives. Montessori classrooms include instruction on practical life skills, such as sewing. One former student did not have a dress that could be worn to powwows, so we researched and made one. This personal project became one of discovery for the entire class. Dr. Montessori pointed out that what the hand does, the mind remembers. Hands-on learning and interacting with material culture, what people ate, wore, their tools, etc., are invaluable tools for understanding the past. I use dramatic simulations to immerse students in historical experiences. For example, to learn about the pictographs of Paleo-Indians, we created a cave system out of a whole lot of butcher paper and every table in the room. Students researched ancient artwork from both near and far. We mostly rely on photos and videos, but the most exciting research is the experience of seeing ancient paintings with our own eyes on a field trip to nearby gates of the mountains. After grinding and mixing our own paint, students crawled into the cave with torches to create their own pictographs. We do simulations on early explorers, the Revolutionary War, Trail of Tears, pioneers, Civil War, a cholera outbreak, and more. Over the years, one of the students' favorite simulations is the Great Depression, in which the bank foreclosed on our classroom because Ma Delaney couldn't keep up on the mortgage payments. Students loaded up the old jalopy, the book cart, and used hobo signs to navigate the school. We built a Hooverville on the front lawn and learned about the real homeless camp that was just a few blocks away near Carroll College, where Father Kirkin would literally give the shirt off his back to a person in need. Students read to research further areas of interest, played math games, and learned how to play marbles, while learning to eat it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. We dressed in burlap to go begging throughout the school. The school staff are invaluable actors in our simulation and have been so kind to support projects like this. In many cases, staff members made a work-for-food deal with the students, who then had to follow through and use their teamwork skills to accomplish the tasks they promised. The children were proud of their hard work, feeling a sense of accomplishment and the reward of a job well done. After a few days, we had enough supplies to make boiled potatoes and Russian tea, using a Depression-era recipe that makes the most out of limited ingredients. We have been lucky to have a parent and talented musician, David Casey, sing as Woody Guthrie while we pretended to be New Deal workers building the Going to the Sun Highway and Fort Peck Dam. While simulations like these are ambitious undertakings, they are an effective way to foster historical empathy and a more personal connection to the past. I was mistaken, so I
They're so depressing.
Some of the most memorable learning activities happen when we leave the school. Field trips offer a chance to explore outside the prepared environment of the classroom. Dr. Montessori said, "Our aim is not merely to make the child understand, and still less to force him to memorize, but so to touch his imagination as to enthuse him to his innermost core." I strive to spark their imaginations through sensorial experiences. They need to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch so they can understand, appreciate, and remember. Learning about something is never as meaningful as first-hand personal experience. As members of a public Title I school, our classroom benefits from a number of field trips provided by the school district. These experiences have been selected for specific grade levels and form a core group of recurring field trips. We are fortunate to be located in the state capital, where much of Montana's history is right on our doorstep. The Montana Historical Society is an invaluable resource to classroom teachers across the state. They host events such as Archaeology Day, with hands-on stations for learning with experts. The hands-on history footlocker trunks are available for checkout and are stuffed with reproductions of clothing, tools, everyday objects, maps, photographs, and documents. Our classroom was privileged to field test a new trunk on the original governor's mansion, home to the Stewart family in turbulent times. Every year, my students work on a History in Boxes project, in which they are developing a classroom set of mini footlockers based on the Historical Society's work. I have been fortunate to participate in professional organizations and projects, such as the Teacher Leaders in the Arts Initiative and the Montana Council for History and Civics Education, which have enriched my history lessons and introduced me to new colleagues. So many of my lessons have been inspired by the work of others, and I am thankful to those who have offered lesson plans, ideas, suggestions, and materials. In a lesson from friend Frank Finley of Salish Kootenai College, students made friendship bracelets out of a plant named Sputzen in Salish. Students experienced the seasonal work of gathering materials using knowledge of botany and a technique passed down over generations. Twine is used to make fish traps and other tools for survival and trade, so everyone in the family is needed to help. Historian Ellen Baumler helped improve my yearly activity in which students learn about Dia de los Muertos, research the lives of early Hellenans, bake pan de muerto, decorate masks, and share their stories in historic Benton Avenue Cemetery. Guest speakers offer even more learning opportunities. Each person brings along expertise and experiences to share with the class. Friends, relatives, community members, and visitors to our town are all fair game for an invitation to speak to the class. Children are natural relationship builders. We are hardwired to learn from others, and young people are full of questions and curiosity. Bringing in visitors not only provides opportunities for learning outside my own knowledge base, but challenges students to interact with adults other than myself. Some are familiar faces with amazing stories to share, and some speakers enter the room as strangers. Students need a variety of opportunities to practice speaking and listening skills in the fine art of conversation. I am always on the lookout for interesting people and especially speakers who are willing to bring in materials. I have been fortunate to host some amazing people over the years, some of whom I knew would be once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. Trying to work out scheduling, travel, and expenses can make it difficult to get guest speakers into a classroom. My solution to this challenge is to be my own guest speaker by acting in character, a technique called first-person historical interpretation. I spend about 90 school days a year in historic period clothing, representing individual women from the mid-1600s to the present. This accompanies a daily timeline I made of U.S. and Montana history. Presentations range from only a few minutes of storytelling to more extensive content activities led by the historic figure. This approach breathes life into stale lessons and can be used at any age level in any subject area. There are scientists, explorers, writers, homemakers, activists, artists, and more. Students hear stories from a wide range of women, some rich, some poor, some who led quiet lives, and some rather outspoken firebrands. I have written an easy how-to guide for any classroom educators who might be interested. One of my students' favorite culminating activities is the Biography Bistro, in which they get to research and act as historic figures themselves. One of the main objectives of this extended project is to provide students the opportunity to connect personally to historically significant people and build a sense of historical empathy. They often choose people they can admire, which makes for a powerful bond. When a past Biography Bistro choice comes up in our lessons, it is almost like meeting an old friend. The students feel connected to these individuals through their peers that played them. For 2 days, students transform our elementary school classroom into a fully functioning restaurant where you get to dine with the rich and famous. Each day, half of the students run the bistro. They seat the guests, take orders, cook, serve, clean up, and charge actual real money. The other half visits with customers in character and full costume of the historically significant figure they have exhaustively researched. The guests are entertained as they interview each personality in an attempt to guess who they are. Children must be well versed in the lives of their historic figures to answer any questions adults may ask. Then we open again for a second day with the students switching roles from the day before. The Biography Bistro is a lot of effort, but I believe we should work hard and play harder. After spending so much time in preparation, the event itself achieves almost mythic status with the students, their families, and the whole school. I could not do big projects like this without the help of colleagues, my students, and their families, and most especially my own family. I was fortunate to grow up in a family that encouraged my interests and still contributes to my historic clothing collection. My husband Chris and our daughters Madeline and Scarlett are my greatest supporters, for which I am eternally grateful.